Hey everyone, this is Lee, and today I'm going to show you some dynamic stretches you can use to warm up before your workout. Now, stretching before working out is really important because it's going to warm up your muscles and it's going to increase your range of motion. So if you start doing low stances like in Kung Fu without warming up, you can injure yourself. If you're doing kickboxing or something like that, you can also, if you go for a high kick or if you're just moving too fast too soon, you can also injure yourself. So I'm going to give you my favorite stretches, dynamic stretches for doing that. When I say dynamic, I mean we're going to move. We're not going to do a static stretch, which is where you just hold a stretch for 30 seconds to a minute. We don't want to do that when we're warming up usually. What we want to do is move, and we're not going to hold any of the stretches for longer than 3 seconds. So we're going to do more reps of a stretch and less holding time. So the first one is what is called a perfect stretch. Now, it's maybe not the perfect stretch, but it stretches a lot of the body in one little routine. So what we do is we pick up the leg, we pull it to the chest, again for about 3 seconds. Then you're going to step down with that leg, and now you're stretching this left hip flexor. Again, 3 seconds. Take the left elbow, drop to the ground, opening up this hip, and a little bit of that left hip flexor as well. And for after 3 seconds, we're going to come up and try to get our hands parallel, get a little thoracic extension. I feel this in the upper back. Again, 3 seconds, come up, and then do the other side. We're going to do 6 times on each side. Okay, after that stretch, we got the hip flexors, we got some thoracic rotation, a little bit of shoulders, we got the groin a little bit. We didn't really do much for the hamstrings though, so now we're going to tackle the hamstrings. So one that I like is this one. It helps to keep your back straight when lifting the leg, and it's going to help stretch those hamstrings in a lot better way than sometimes if you're doing these kicks, you tend to bring your head forward and jerk your head and roll your back. You want to try to keep your back straight when you're doing this. So for the beginners, I like this exercise. You just find a 90-degree angle. It could be a wall. I'm going to use a bag here, and what I'm going to do is sit on my back, and I'm going to put my hips all the way up against the corner and straighten one leg. And now I'm going to take this leg and move it up and down 10 times. As I bring my leg up, my left leg up, I feel this hamstring stretch. As I bring it down, I actually feel the right one stretch. So I'm going to do it 10 times. When I'm done, I'm going to switch sides. So now I put my left leg, again, keeping my hip right up against this bag. I don't want my hip coming off the ground, and I don't want my lower back coming off the ground. I don't want to arch my back. I want to keep my lower back engaged. And again, 10 times. For this next stretch, we're going to move on to the ground. I want to warm up my shoulders. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to sit on my side with my knees at 90 degrees, and I'm going to take the hand on the opposite side. So I don't want this bottom hand. The bottom hand is going to go right on this leg, kind of keep it in place. And I'm going to take this left hand and try to touch the floor all the way around, trying to keep my arm as straight as I can. I'm going to do 5 times going one way, and then 5 times the other way. Once I reach 5, I go the other way. What I'm trying to do here is keep my arm as straight as possible. So I don't want to have my arms bent like this. I want to keep it as straight as possible. And also I don't want to stop from rocking open, right? It can be hard at first. If you can't touch the ground, it's more important to keep the arm straight than to actually touch the ground. So you may be able to touch the ground here. And when you start to come over, your hand might come off the ground, but just keep it straight and try to go all the way around. So again, 5 times. Okay, to continue warming up the shoulders, we're going to need some sort of stick. It should be around 4 feet long. Doesn't have to be. I just have a PVC pipe here. Could be a staff or whatever you have at the school. Could be broomstick. Really any kind of stick will work as long as it's long enough, because we want to go into what's called a snatch grip. So for this, you want to put the stick right in your heel crease. I'm sorry, hip crease, not your heel crease. What's a heel crease? We want to go in the hip crease here. And when we raise our knee, we don't want our arms to bend. So we want our arms wide enough so when we bring up the leg to 90 degrees, the arms aren't bending. So if I bring my hands a little closer in, you'll see what I mean. If I bring my hip up, my elbows bend, that's not wide enough. So I want to be here, okay? And what we want to do, these are called shoulder dislocations. Don't worry, you're not going to dislocate your shoulders. Don't go past where you can. So some people can whip this thing and they're going to be able to get it all the way and touch your back, and that's the goal. But some people are only going to get to here, and that's going to be enough for them. So I would say start off light, right, and then work your way back, trying to keep your arms straight again. And keep on working this 10 times until you can get as far back as you can, all right? My shoulders are tight, so I can't get all the way around. Once I get to 10, I'm done. Okay, so keeping the same grip as before, I'm going to do another thing we like to call round the world. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my left hand and raise it up, straight up. Then I'm going to bring it down and raise the right hand. So you can see that the pole is going around my head. And I'm going to just do 5 times. I don't have to have a death grip on this pole too. You can see as I'm doing this, I'm kind of letting go and just holding with my thumbs. I'm not trying to hold the whole time like this. The idea is to keep your arms straight and not do, so I'm going to switch sides, but not do anything like this. Let go of the pipe, right? Keeping my arms bent. I want to try to keep it straight so that, again, in that snatch grip, here 1, and going around 5 times. Okay, for our next one, we're going to keep that same grip again. I really like this grip because it really warms up the shoulders. Now I'm going to do a squat in the same thing. So I'm just going to bring this over my head. I want to try to push the staff up or the stick up. Doesn't have, again, this weighs nothing. There's no weight here. It's all about mobility. So I'm pushing this up. I want it over my head. I don't want it way back here, and I don't want it out front here. I want it over my head. And then I'm going to bring my feet a little wider than shoulder width or about shoulder width, and I'm going to do overhead squats. So I'm going to push my hips back, come down, and come up 10 times. And I really like this one because it challenges the shoulders, the hips, really opening everything up. So there you have it. Those are my favorite dynamic stretches getting ready to go into a workout. Now would be the point that you want to start easing into your workout. So if you're doing kickboxing per se, if you start punching and kicking the bag, you're not ready to go to 100% yet. I would warm up, with some punches, what you're going to be doing in your workout. Warm up with punches, warm up with some kicks, those sort of things, and slowly warm yourself up and then move into more intense exercise. If you're doing, forms or something like that, maybe you want to do the form lightly, maybe not so low stances, and then work your way up to a more lower stance and a little bit more speed, add speed to it. This is going to help you. Remember, the point of this stretching or the dynamic stretching is to help increase your range of motion so that you're getting full range of motion, because you might come in and maybe you're able to do, really low stances, those sort of things. But if your body's not warm and you try to go straight to that low stance, you can injure yourself, right? Or you might be stiff and it just throws off your form, where normally you might be able to go, let's say if I go into some sort of stance like this, right? If my normal is to have my thigh parallel, well, if I'm not warmed up, maybe if I go all the way down into that, I might injure myself, or I might compensate somewhere else. So instead of having a straight back, I'm like pushing my back forward, and I don't even realize this. I'm just so worried about getting that leg to parallel that I'm sacrificing other parts of my form. So that's why I say try to warm up slowly. If you want, you can go for like a light jog, do some shadow boxing, that sort of stuff beforehand, get a light sweat going, move into your dynamic stretching, and then move into your workout. This is Lee with Mantis Mechanics. If you like this video, click and subscribe below. I'll see you next time.